Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Today, I am actually taking a look at um, the Marvel Rivals Black Cat splash sort of animation shot, I guess. It was requested on my Instagram from my Instagram followers. So I'll be taking a look at it because I agree. It is very, very stiff looking, very awkward looking. So what I was going to do is pose it, this exact pose in Portia Studio. I was going to pose it for you guys and then talk alternatives because, yeah. It's a very interesting pose because it's not, I wouldn't call it sexy. I wouldn't call this pose sexy at all. Pinup art is supposed to take the sexy aspect of the female figure, of the male figure, and present it with some artistry, with some level of creativity, you know, trying to show the key spots, you know, the behind, the chest, show the figure, the hourglass, show all of the parts of like an athletic female body or a female body, but like do it in a way that still defines it as art. So it's not strictly pornographic or anything. And this feels very pornographic. It feels very, very kind of like demeaning or lower level. You know what I mean? Like bottom feeder type of goony, like a position to put a woman in. Very, very classless, tasteless type of way to position a female character in an illustration. I don't think it's good art when you pose like this. Mostly because I'm a female, you know, and I want to be kind of, I don't want to look at art where women are subjected to these types of positions. So there's that. There's always that, of course. You can't turn that aspect off. Being a, you know, a woman and an educator, but it also shows a lower level of research. Like you could have put in some level of research. I don't know who the artist is behind this, and it's not really about them. It's about like the decision making, you know, collectively from the studio. I wouldn't be able to name one specific person that I would blame for this type of thing, but I'm not the only one who's noticing it. Now, before you say, "Oh, this is just your opinion," I will take you guys to the comment section of this trailer so you can have a look for yourselves and see what people are saying. So this trailer is this is the scene from the trailer. So let's watch it together. I don't know how legal this is for my own content. I'm sure people have done reactions for this already, but this is the scene. Black Cat is basically I don't know. She's stealing something, and she's sliding down the whatever that is, the spider web. I don't know. I really don't understand Black Cat's design as a whole. But why they called her Black Cat, like why didn't they call her something else? But she's coming down upside down, hand reaching down. It's a logical pose for a jewel, you know, like a thief or a cat burglar. But it is also at the same time sexy because you're seeing the full female figure. But within a couple seconds, her pose changes to that. Very spidery, very Evelyn. I think Evelyn is the spider character from League of Legends, right, guys? And it's very like not cat-like at all, not cat burglary like at all. It doesn't show that same element of, you know, elongated leopard-like, cat-like flexibility, or like grace, let's say, the grace, which is a good word. She's completely lost all of that grace. So what I've done here is I have looked up some references of, I'm not sure what it's called, ribbon acrobatics, or it's just where they hang, you know, where they hang off a very, very long ribbon. And it's an endless resource. You could just Google it right now. Female acrobat, you know, hanging you will get so many amazing poses. Like this one is perfect for Black Cat, I think. This one is absolutely perfect for her because it's showing her full figure, it's showing the breast line, it's showing all of the stuff that the Gooners love, but at the same time, it's artistic, it's sexy. This one also may work. The problem is, in order for me to critique this, I will have to do so much to this illustration. I may leave it just as that. I may leave it at that, you know, just a quick verbal critique. I will try because I'm still not able to wrap my head around exactly what they did here. But I'd like to show you how wrong it is, at least. I would like to show you at least how distorted it looks. I understand that it's art and you can do whatever you want. I understand that. But there's a standard, right? There's a standard. And if we look at the rest of the trailer, I turned off the audio. You can see that they're okay everywhere else. It actually looks amazing. It looks great. And you see a lot of normal poses everywhere. You see a lot of that. And in the comment section, people are already commenting. They're not even trying to hide it anymore at 30 seconds. All right. Why would I ever expect us to stop going? Whatever the hell this is. Like, they're appealing to the lowest common, you know, consumer and giving them what they want most, but adding no extra, you know, nothing extra to it. They're adding no artistic finesse. I refuse to believe that the artist who trained long enough to be able to draw a face this well didn't experiment with gestures. Of course they know a better gesture to do, and of course they know this is disproportionate. But let's pose it. I never come without receipts. Let's pose it and see what happens. All right, let's pose it and see what happens to this illustration. So what I want to do actually is just clone this real quick. Where are you? Clone. And put this away. Let me lower her hands. Let us pose exactly what we see Black Cat doing, okay? I just want you to see what the body has to do in order to duplicate that. We're going to do this. All right, so I need this open on the side, actually. So let me open it on the side. Okay. So, see, I should have done that first. Okay, so we are tilting the chest up and the neck up, then tilting the body down. All right, so we're pretty much there, right? This is gonna be one hell of a critique. Then the body's slightly tilted on a 3/4 view, so I just want to make sure the camera is remembered. Let's go back to the character. Oh my God, this is gonna take one hell of a distortion to do. And the light is right on her face. Let's try to get the face looking right. Okay. Then we have what is known in the medical field as a L4, L5 fracture of the spine. Okay, we have something that is physically impossible to do, and because it is impossible to do, it reads in the eyes of the viewer. You know, the eyes of the viewer catch this type of stuff. So I'm going to continue trying to get the exact rotation happening. Like, I'm even going to try to show the waistline. So in order to do that, I have to push the limits to a level never been pushed before. Right, just so we can see that waistline from this angle and the butt from this angle. Again, I'm not trying to exaggerate. I'm genuinely trying to get the exact same thing happening with the butt. This angle really makes it feel like she is like getting like some kind of enema in the ER. Like she is about to give birth. They're giving her her epidural. Like it's not, it looks like a procedural kind of like pose to be in. It doesn't look comfortable. It doesn't look sexy. It doesn't feel sexy. Do you know what I mean? It feels like it is very, very specifically designed to show all of the features of the female body, but somebody who didn't quite understand how the body works pushed it while not accommodating for the rest of the rotation. Okay, what's happening with the other leg? It's straight behind her. Oh my God. Okay, so I am raising the other leg. Can I try this at home? Please don't try this at home. Please don't try this at home. So the person who suggested this on Instagram, thank you so much, because it's actually a great educational opportunity to show you guys that be sexy, you know, do your pinup art, do it all. Do what you want to do. But not being proportionate about it is how things get silly. Like for instance, you can say that we can try to make it symmetrical. We've seen people, very, very acrobatic people, do this type of stuff. It's very possible. I know what like flexibility can do, but for what this feels like, you know, what it's doing, it feels like part of her torso is missing simply because they're forcing the front of the breasts like this, as if the front of the breast only looks like this if the body is sitting level with the camera. So the neck is beneath, you know, it is beneath the shoulder line, which is proportionate. That's great. I have that part. But like, remember, like there's only so much I can do to adjust the neck so that we're seeing it like this. And it's this weird extra waistline, this little line. See that? That's what I'm trying to duplicate here and really push. I'm trying to get that same waistline to show up in Portia Studio while also keeping the breast showing, while also keeping the neck underneath and showing the head. I shouldn't have to put the figure through this just to duplicate the angle. It is possible. It is 100% possible to do this pose. But the way that they pulled it off, we would be seeing more of the silhouette of the breasts. We would be seeing more of the top of the head. For it to feel like a natural pose, we would need to see a lot of stuff. So let me clone this once again. Clone the wrong one. Let me clone this one. Okay, let me clone this one. There we go. So I'm pretty sure I cloned that. Nope, I didn't clone the right one. So which one is which? Hide. Give me a second. Hide. Oh, this one is the one. Show. Okay, so this is the one I want to clone. We got these ladies everywhere now. So, all right, let's do this now. Let's do this in a proportionate way. I just can't believe what my job is. What is my job? So what we want to do in order to correct this is, let me just hide that. show that. And let me hide. Oh, let me show that one. Okay, doesn't matter. I'm going to adjust this so that we're looking at it proportionately. It's still going to feel like a proportionate, you know, it's still going to feel sexy, but it's going to be proportionate. In order to do that, I have to rotate the body so that it's mostly the neck doing all of the movement. So I'm trying to just make the neck feel more settled. Again, we would really be looking at this from an angle that like the top of the head and the breast would show more of a silhouette of the breast or an outline of the breast instead of showing the top of the diaphragm. This just looks like a lady sitting down on a chair, but they separated her body and do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel realistic. It doesn't feel accurate. We would need to see the small of her back in order for this to really be pulled off. It doesn't feel like a natural pose. So if you sensed this, if you saw this type of stuff and you sensed it, you sensed right, that this is wrong. It is very, very disproportionate and has a lot of problematic elements to it. But the way to fix it immediately, just a quick fix, would be to show less of the breasts and I need to just reset this joint, but I forgot the quick shortcut for it. It's just a bad angle. Well, you guys could have picked any other angle for this, but let's say you had to. This would be an excellent example. The plates are all wrong. Everything is all wrong, but you guys can see what I mean. This entire area has been compressed. Okay, so this would be more logical than this. This one is really just, it's not working because they're showing a front view torso of a female. It feels like there should be, you know, the rest of her body like this, or maybe her thighs and she's bending forward, you know, and she's got like her back there. Other ways you could have adjusted this gesture. Like there's so many ways. There's so many ways this gesture could have been made a little bit more believable. Like they could have done something like with the body more of it like twisted to the side, a leg like that, another leg like that, and then just the butt is a little bit closer. They could have done something where it's kind of like she's kind of upside down, so they could have done something like that. Oopsie. Something like this with the body kind of like bent, and they're like, you know, like the leg is there bent this way and the other leg is bent this way. So the body would have been a little bit more from a profile angle. Or it could have been just a straight shot. She's just hanging upside down. So I don't know how to fix this. So what I'm going to try to do is get rid of the backside and find something that works, because I would have to do real perspective changes for the head. I would have to hide the head. I would have to move the breast back. I would have to not show so much of the breasts. The top of the breast shape would be visible, but not so much the front view and the cleavage. This is all front view talk. By the time this line has passed, the collarbone is at the edge of the body. So there is so much happening here, so much to unpack, that I'm actually just going to kind of get rid of that area in the background. and see what I can pull off in the short amount of time I have. Find a better option for showing her sexiness, keeping the pinup, providing the same level of pinup, so the same level of sexiness. Because if we lose that, then we lose the point. I'm not sure. Was this game always meant to be like a very sexy game? Like, was it always supposed to be like that? Or did it just become kind of like a fan servicey game? It really looks like she's like crouching on a toilet, but like from a different angle. Like, it doesn't seem like a very respectable position to be in. Not that any aspect of this is, worried about its respectability, but it's silly. It's silly. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a silly pose. It's sexy in a silly way. And I understand that some men appreciate this angle. They're very happy about it. It's everything they've ever wanted. But this is a character that has been written for many, many years in a lot of different books. They're strong characters. They're strong female characters. Why do they have to strip the female character of her strength? Yeah, she's, a thief and she's on the sexy side, but sexy doesn't mean stupid. Sexy is very much a smart character in Marvel. We've seen a lot of characters that have their sexiness, but also maintain this intelligence to them. They don't look like just a straight up cow in heat. You know what I mean? They don't look like an animal in heat. Why should it look like that? Why should it be that way? She just looks like an animal in heat. I'll be honest with you. It looks like a cat in heat, and I don't like that because it's not real art anymore. It's just straight up fan service to a level where it's missing the art of the whole thing. It should have some art. Yeah, Frazetta drew naked women, and I still didn't feel like I was looking at an objectification of a female when I looked at his work. But he was from that era where, women were usually drawn as subservient or vulnerable, in all their sexiness. But he did draw some strong characters, that one jungle character. I forget what her name is. It's not Vampira. I was looking at her the other day. But he still managed to preserve some of that beauty and strength and found a good balance, It was nice. But here, they just like hanging her ass up in the air like she's ready to be artificially inseminated by a farmer. I just, do you know what I mean? Or like about to get an enema in the ER because she drank a little bit too much the night before. It just looks like a medical or some kind of animal husbandry position to me. It's not, there's no finesse, there's no sexiness to it. So I'm gonna completely get rid of that layer. I'm sorry about, I'm not sorry about the straightforward way I talk, but I'm sorry that this is how some women see these things. Like, this is ridiculous, You see, keep the sexiness. We're not saying don't let us be sexy. We're not saying stop objectifying us. We know you're always going to objectify us, but at least do it in a way that actually looks like art still. It doesn't feel right. It feels very, very pornographic in a very cheap way. So how do we get this to look sexy again, but still keep it proportionate? What I would do, because we're so limited in the perspective of the upper body, the torso is really limited, guys. Like, we're looking at a straight up front view torso right now. That's it. Again, a front view, a torso that has been tilted to this level looks like the breasts are almost gone. And that obviously, as a pinup, they don't want that. They don't want to show that. They want to show most of the breast line. So let's find a middle ground where we can all live in peace. Why not have her kind of like standing in this way that makes her still very sexy? It's a very popular pinup position to be in, but keep that same angle going. Maybe make one of the legs tilting like that. If this was supposed to be pornographic, if that was the point, if I'm sitting with the people who made this game and I'm sitting in this mostly male council room of Marvel rivals, mostly male, and I'm just like the only female, I'm just going to use green, And they told me, yeah, that was the point. We are tapping into the porn industry to sell this game. I'd be like, okay, I'm out. You win. If this was the point, fine. But if this is supposed to be the same general mentality as League, you have very sexy characters in League, but they're all done in a very, some of them done in a very, very, very tasteful way. Tasteful pinup. And the reason why it's personal, because Marvel and DC and all of those things are very, very old and very, very talented artists, veterans in the field have worked on these characters, have designed these characters. Somebody look up who designed her, who designed Black Cat, who drew the first book cover, comic book cover for Black Cat. They must have been one of the greats that worked on this game, that really defined female pinup and superhero comic books. They must have put a lot of effort in her design. They picked a great silhouette. There's a lot of fashion design involved in this. So we're not just making up new characters and turning them into like Gooner content. We're talking about age-old comic book characters and comic book heroes that we all know and have a familiarity with. Why can't we just, do this with the character? Why can't we do a position like this? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find an angle that actually makes sense. And I couldn't see what her costume for her legs looks like, but I'll try. Just to show you, we can keep that same exact upper body. We can keep that sexiness. We can do that kind of like I don't know if you guys remember Lil' Kim, but she was famous for this pose in her albums, just like this crouch squat, the lowest level of the squat. Like she was kind of famous for that. I don't know if you guys are that old, but that's kind of what I'm going for, this type of angle. It's still a very, very popular stripper angle. It shows that she's just come down from the rope. The rope is slack too. Where's the tension in the rope if she was hanging off of it? And then I'll drop that there. So now we have more of a realistic, still very, very sexy pose for her. And it still looks good. If I'm wrong, if it's supposed to be pornographic, that's different. Like if it's supposed to feel like some kind of, I don't know, very specific angles that are designed to show strictly females in sexual positions, that's at that point I can't argue with, I can't even talk to that, because they've very, very specifically picked a non-artistic angle. Yes, it's possible to get into this position. Again, I'm not talking about the possibility of this this pose. I'm talking about the animation involved in getting her upper body to look this much forward and still seeing her backside. If, let's say, we kept the older design, let's say we kept it, okay? We would have to, we would have to do this. Let me just duplicate. We would have to tuck it behind her head. We would really only be seeing that part. So I'll duplicate that, put that behind. What am I doing right now? Oh, I'll put that there. Turn it on. Okay. So now we get to see the same angle. Look, it's pretty much the same thing. Kind of erased too much of the ass. But it's more anatomically accurate. Because if we were still seeing this much of the body, we'd see her thighs behind her back. Still very acrobatic position. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I know I'm not doing a very good job at rendering it right now, but do you guys see what I mean? We'd still see her toe. We'd still see her other leg. Oh, no, actually, we wouldn't see her other leg. What am I saying? And we'd see her bum. Like, if they really, really had to have that, maybe the other leg is starting to land, so it looks more acrobatic. but then it's just kind of an awkward, very spidery pose, right? With the other leg. And then we can make the other hand kind of over here, just holding on to the glass. See that? So this would be the other leg. And this would be the hand. Are you guys seeing the general idea? So you have so many options at this point. You have this option. Okay. Then you have this option. I know that there's like a lot missing here because I basically painted over it. I think this looks more like a cat because we get to see her heels, we get to see her stand, we get these different, you know, very Catwoman. I'm sorry to say it's a very huge ripoff of Catwoman, but sorry, but yeah, it feels very, very cat-like, you know, black cat. It's not like she's like a spider character where we need to be showing her in these extreme angles. So there's this one, there's this one, and then there's the original one. Something about the original one is very tasteless, in my opinion. And if we really had to force, we really had to keep the original one. These are the changes that should be done to accommodate for it. And it's going to be very, very crazy amount of changes. So first of all, we wouldn't see the cleavage. We would see more of the, like the top of the breast line. We would see a silhouette of the chest contour. So not so much, bam, breasts in front of you, symmetrically as if it's front view. We would see more of that chest cavity before we saw the breast bump. We would need to respect the chest cavity. And then we would be seeing less of the head. And we would be seeing like more of the top of the head, less of the face, I mean. And we would be seeing the nose overlap. And we would be seeing more of the lashes. Like there are so many adjustments that need to be made so that they can keep their original angle. And we would see less of the breasts, I'm sorry, less of the bra, let's call it, and more of the breasts. Because we're not seeing the front of the chest anymore. We're seeing the top of the chest. So the person that brought this up to me, I take requests for critiques for all kinds of media, not just League. You know, I've critiqued RuneScape, I've critiqued all kinds of stuff. But the person who brought this to me was right. They're like, I feel like something is off about the way they drew her because it doesn't feel, it feels like it was just gooning for gooning's sake. It didn't feel like art anymore. So before, after. Do you see what I mean now? Like, do you guys see what I'm trying to say? The way the head would actually be overlapped a lot more. And maybe, I mean, I don't know how fluid the breasts are. What are we talking about physics-wise? Are they just going to gloop around like they're made out of Jell-O? Or are they structured but also bouncy? Like what's going on in the image? I feel like more chest bone, less breast just makes more sense. And then we would just show how the corset or the bodice has more of an indication of shadow because the light from the glass display is pointing up a little bit more, and that's it. And then we would grab the entire head and layer it on top of the body even more, hiding the neckline even more, because those are the layers of depth, the stacking involved. Remember, stacking is one object in front of another object in front of another object because of perspective. So this would be the angle that would make sense with this ass that's showing in the back. Okay, so we have so many different angles we can pick from. My question is, as an art director, as an art educator, why weren't these thumbnailed? Who was involved in the thumbnailing? Who was doing this? What happened that day? Where? Why did they pick like this particular angle? Didn't you have enough other thumbnails? Did you have two and you combine them? That's usually the culprit. And I'm not speaking from, I'm not trying to patronize or anything, but I've seen thumbnails and I've worked with students who built entire portfolios and helped them build their portfolios. And we talked about, two thumbnails, combining them together and making sure to adjust for the two thumbnails to make sure the perspectives match. These perspectives do not match. These are two completely different angles. One is a front view of a character and one is the complete backside upside down of a character. You can't just combine them both without meeting halfway and adjusting. And if you did do this one, okay, if you did go with this angle and kept your original design, let me get that corrected. Oops. This shit right here, I kind of lost it. You can now elongate a little bit more and show more of the curvature of the female body. Obviously, you're sacrificing boobage for other stuff, but really, even in the original one, let me just duplicate this layer. Even in the original one, there was just no waistline. It was like the torso was gone. So I'm just trying to elongate the backside. So we ignore what's happening on the head. I'm just trying to show more of the backside. Okay, and there really would be more of a 3/4 view of this butt. We would be seeing more of one butt cheek than the other butt cheek. It's okay to giggle. If you didn't giggle, it's weird if you didn't giggle. All right, and then I'm just gonna delete to get the old layer back. Okay, so we're seeing like more of the body and more of the torso. Let me flip the canvas. And again, it's just more of one butt cheek over the other. So these would be my final thoughts on the matter. Also, why is her butt cheek looking like it's not part of the other? So the butt cheek and the leg become one unit when you're standing. You treat it as one unit. When they're bent over, you can treat them as two different units. But let's say her other leg was straight. Why was this butt not showing that the butt cheek has extended into the other leg? You can still show the contour of the bum, but the way they did it was they kind of showed it as if we have another butt cheek, entirely separate butt cheek. We need to show that the other leg and the bum are connected. And then I'm just trying to seam this back together in some way. Her torso looks so much bigger. Her backside looks so much smaller. It feels like these legs are just too small for her body as well. They feel very, very small and tiny. I feel like this is where her leg size should be. And I looked at the model in the game. Her legs are long. Her legs are very, very long. So again, I ask, where was the thumbnailing? Where was the referencing? A lot of people have brought this angle up and they're like, okay, fine, let's goon it up, but like, let's do it artistically. Why do it in such a way where it's just insulting the viewer at this point? The viewer being me. Feel very insulted. I'm going to use the bounce light on the sides to kind of show the contour of the back and try to bring out some of the rest of the contour here. Thank you so much, Cincy. I appreciate it. Thank you. Then we would see more of the feather, this feather thing. If we were to tilt her head, we would see more of it towards the back. So we wouldn't really see the elongated back line because of the character's design. So many options, and they're not breaking the rules, and they don't look silly, and they don't kind of have this awkward tension, because at the end of the day, the viewers will feel this weird tension in the image when we force perspectives like this. So let's recap. What are they again? What are the options? So there's the original, and then there is the changed one where we see a little bit less of the head and more of the backside, kind of a larger body. Let me try to mimic what they did here with the bum. I guess they had like some kind of shadow there. I'm not sure what that was for. Maybe just to show more contours. And then they gave her her little bum highlight. Oh my god. And then they had like these other highlights just there, but still that would be part of the upper area. Anyway, and then we would have and then we have this one where she is still hanging. I like this one a lot because she's still doing the hanging, but it's not awkward. So for this one, where would we put the cord? I mean, we could put the cord like wrapped around her ankle and then around this leg. She's the pro. It's not me. I can just put the, she found a way to make the cord work. And then we have to make sure that the cord is straight or else it doesn't feel like there's any tension at all when she came off the line, the acrobatic line or whatever it is. And then it like wraps around this way, goes around this leg, wraps around, and then slacks somewhere here. So she's still using her cat burglar cord, but it's got tension and it explains why she's hanging from this direction. Okay? And then there is the one that I actually want to keep, which is, where is it? This one. This one I feel like is just, I don't know, it just makes sense. She landed, the cord is slacked. The cord is just behind her. She landed where she wanted to land, and she's leaning on this hand, which makes a lot of sense. So let me try to seam it back in. So you see why this one was so difficult for me to critique, because like, which one do we keep? How much of the original design are we challenging? Are we changing? And is it still sexy? Is it still providing the same pinup theme, fitting the game where it needs to go? I like this one because it's just a little bit more artistic, but also action. Like it feels like there's a lot of action and athleticism in this pose. And she's leaning her hand forward, which would explain why she's in the pose to begin with. I don't know. What do you guys think? I just think anything but the one that we had before. Anything but this, because if you think about it, in the original trailer, where is this trailer? In the original trailer, I think I lost it. Let me retrieve it. Thank you again, Magico, for finding this link. She comes down with a rope. She's upside down as she's coming down. See that? Upside down again, and then getting an enema. Like, what happened? How did we get to that angle? She's upside down, she jumps around, she's very flexible. Upside down. And then this angle, and then that. It's like they picked this angle that really didn't need to be selected. Instead, let's just pick the one where she actually lands. Bam. All right, so just imagine it like this. We've got, this is going to be tricky. We've got this upside down, and landed down. Isn't that more sequential? Do you know what I mean? Isn't that more of a seamless animation than the alternative, which was upside down, and then that? She's not a spider So why are they representing it as a spidery descent that's slow, like Spider-Man? Like it's a very Spider-Man angle to take. I just want to show that, bam, she landed down, boobs jiggling, men are happy, men are celebrating across the nation. Everybody's happy. We met all of the requirements, right? So this is my answer to that question, that request. Does it make sense? Does it look good? I think it looks very weird without the explanation, with the perspectives overlapping like that. I think it looks very off. You even get a chance to put the boobs together and have even more of a silhouette for the breasts, because this angle would push the breasts together. So you're getting even more boob per boob in this one. You get even more, you get boob cubed in this one. So let me just try to make the chest line make sense. So this one would be lifted. This one would be lifted. You still get everything that you had before. And you're not really losing on it. But of course, this is an animated promo video. It's not like, you know, a splash or anything like that. But it's a great way for us to talk about pinup art, which is a huge theme and a huge group of, you know, it's what is it called? It's a huge thing in art world. It's one of the bigger ways to kind of get your foot in the door portfolio wise. It's big in games. It's big in collectors, you know, collector art. It's got all the major comic books have pinup in some form or other. If we did do this one, I don't want her to look like a very lanky. I still want her to look like an athletic, so I would get rid of the extensive arm length. Yeah, by the way, even no matter which angle we picked, the arm was too long. Way too much length on the arm. And then I would push the shoulder up just to show that she's leaning forward on that arm and show less of an extreme angle. She's already landed her hand down. See how long the arm was before? Like it just felt a little bit, I don't know, forced maybe. And then right here, actually I want the shoulder to be a little lower. Never mind on the shoulder because she's leaning, so maybe the shoulder would have relaxed by the time her wrist carried her weight. Okay, so before, after. If they really, really had to, they could have shown a middle frame where she was just jumping from being upside down and moving her body forward. It just didn't feel, it felt like an in-between frame, not so much a key frame. And they would have seen more of the character, and it would have felt more like the character herself. So this is my argument, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. This is what I wanted to talk about. Either way, if we were to leave the entire critique I did alone, if we just ignored everything that I said, and I just did one little correction, it would be just this. The backside is so much smaller than it should be. It almost looks, gross to say, adolescent. It looks like her lower body never grew up. It looks very, very tiny. It doesn't make sense. Like it looks icky. It's just very young looking. And that does not match anything else happening in the upper body. It just looks like a very tiny, tiny kind of backside. So just enlarge it, I think, and then just push it a little bit lower behind, just for the sake of perspective. Push it behind a little bit, just a little bit, just to show that we're not forcing the sight of this. We're not forcing this waistline. Let it go, hide it, because it's really throwing off the perspective. Her ass would just be behind her head. Okay, so that's all I have to say for today. We have talked about a lot of stuff. I love this one because it feels more like her as a character based off what I've seen of her in the movies. But this one is also not movies. I don't think I've seen a movie. Just from the shots I've seen from comic books. I think this one is nice too if they really wanted to keep that spidery hanging look. This also looks good. You still got the boobs in the right place. You've got the other arm, and you can just find a way to hang her off the cord. It's no biggie. It's really easy to just add in the cord. Any of these, I think, is has got more pinup finesse. Now, if I can just really quickly find a pinup artist. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. She's freaking amazing. Like, I've never seen a pinup artist quite like this. Oh man, Olivia pinup art. Olivia de Berardinis. Berardinis. Oh my God, she's amazing. If you already know about her, like, right? She's amazing. Olivia Berardini. Pinup. Let me see if I can find it for you so I can show you what she does. She's got, I mean, it's NSFW, big time NSFW. And it's more like sitting gestures. But look her up. Olivia Berardini, I think. Berardini. Berardinis with an S at the end. That's like all sexiness, all goony, but it's tasteful. It's got a lot of anatomical accuracy, but still has that aesthetic intact, you know? Like she still manages to deliver. So let's try to do that from now on, boys and girls. If and everybody else. If we do this type of fan servicey art, there is still plenty of room for our artistry, for maturity, for finesse, and not just have to settle for the classic, weird, porny, gross kind of stuff. If that's what you're into, I'm sorry, but these are my opinions. I think it's gross to like put women in these positions for no reason at all and discarding the character's athleticism, the character's personality. She's not really, you know, she finds a way to be sexy without really trying, you know, like that type of debonair type of sexiness, I guess. I don't know what to say. I don't know what words I'm using, but she's not just a porn star. She's got a storyline. There's a story there. So let's keep that going. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I've had enough of this topic. Olivia de Berardinis. Yes, there you go. But typical male gaze writes down name. No, she does male gaze art for sure, but she does female gaze as well. Like it's not porny. She does it in this very, very artistic way. It's like burlesque, you know, there's art involved. There's athleticism involved. There's a silhouette involved. That's very, very important to preserve. This was just all about the goonification. We even lost the silhouette. Where is the hourglass figure? The hourglass figure, it's gone. Hey, it's just tits and ass. The hourglass figure is gone. And you know what else? You know what else is there? This weird box shape instead of the hourglass figure. That's not what women look like in these pinups. You know, that's not what these characters look like. They've got very, very pronounced hourglass shape. Anytime you lose this hourglass shape, the pinup has failed because that's what the pinup is all about. So even though this is for male gaze is very different from artistic sexiness. Those are two very, very different themes. And I hope I've made my argument about this as clearly as I can. I don't like this one because like we're losing the breasts, we're showing ass that we don't really have to see, and we still don't get a waistline. So this one's a big ant on this one. So imagine we're thumbnailing. And then this one is a serious contender to this one, in my opinion. And I think this one would have been the winner if I was the art director involved. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. What is a woman even? Writes down name even harder. Thank you everyone for watching. I will see you guys on Tuesday, the 21st at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I know it wasn't a major paint over today, but I hope you got the idea. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.